Are you gearing up for your first craft show and feeling just a little bit overwhelmed? Well, I have been doing craft shows for over 8 years, and over that time, I have learned a lot. That's why I created this craft show blueprint video series. It's designed to take you from totally overwhelmed to market ready, one step at a time. I even compiled everything from the video series for you in a free checklist that's available on my website. The link is in the description. In this episode, we're specifically focusing on inventory, how much you need to make, along with my favorite strategy for batching inventory so that you don't burn out before market day. If we haven't met yet, my name is Melissa. I run a brand design studio by day and a handmade product business by night. And on this channel, I love to talk about handmade business and share the journey with you guys, along with anything I might have learned along the way. Before we begin, just a quick reminder, if you're finding these tips helpful, would you please hit that like button for me? It really helps the series reach other makers who are just starting out too. Now let's dig in. Okay, so let's talk about prepping your inventory. You're gonna wanna start prepping your product as soon as you know you're accepted to the market. And in terms of how much product to bring, the general rule of thumb is that you probably wanna bring about 2 times as much as you hope to sell. That way, your table will never look super empty and you'll have lots of options for your customers to shop right up until the end of the event. You're going to want to prioritize your best-selling products. So if you've got like an Etsy shop or you've been selling via story sale on Instagram or things like that, maybe pull some reports or at least make a list of the things that have seemed to be the most popular in your previous selling methods. Once you've got a list of the products that you think you want to bring to this event, you're going to want to start making them. So first off, if you need to order supplies, do that sooner than later so that you give them plenty of time to arrive and aren't waiting to the last second. Once you have your supplies, you are going to want to make your products in batches. So if you want to sell 4 or 5 different types of products, you don't want to sit down one evening and make 5 of one, 5 of another, 5 of the third. You want to sit down and make 20, 25, 30 of product 1. And then the next night or the next weekend, 20, 25, 30 of product 2. When you batch things like this, you gain efficiencies that help you produce the products quicker, which leads to better profit margins. If you want to learn more about how to increase your profit margins for your handmade product business, I have an entire video about that, and I'll leave the link right there. Sometimes I even go as far as batching steps. So I will take a product that I'm making and I will do step 1 for 50 of them, 100 of them, whatever. And then once step 1 is completed, I will go through and do step 2. I just find it helps me produce everything the fastest, and the faster you can produce it, the better your profit margins. Along those same lines, you are going to want to think smartly about whether any of your products require curing or drying time, and make sure to prioritize those steps so you have plenty of time for those things to happen. So if you're doing candles or if you're having to glue things or wait for paintings to dry, things like that. Once you have your products made and you need to package them, you're going to want to make sure you keep an eye to use really consistent branding. Now, if you're just starting out, you might not have too much in the way of branding. And so as a brand designer, my recommendation is to keep things simple. Pick a single font, a single color. If anything, prioritize your name the most, because it's pretty easy to change a font. It's pretty easy to change a color scheme further down the line, but trying to communicate a totally new name to people is much more difficult. So if you have to concentrate your mental bandwidth in any part of the branding process, I would definitely recommend concentrating that on figuring out your name first. And then you can keep it simple if you don't have a ton of time or resources to do anything more in depth. But the key is you want it to be consistent and you want it to look professional. People love handmade goods, but if your handmade goods look super DIY, like I just made this last night and just slapped this random piece of paper on it as packaging or a tag, that starts feeling cheap and devaluing all the work you put into that product. You can do handmade and you can have it have a handmade feel and handmade looking branding, but you want it to be a professional version of handmade branding if that's the direction you're gonna go, because you just don't want to accidentally make your product look cheap. And finally, when it comes to branding, you want to make sure that you have your website, your social media handle on just about everything. Every now and then, it doesn't make sense to put it on something, but if it makes sense, put it on there because you never know the path this product's going to take. Someone might be buying it as a gift, and so they have no actual direct exposure to you. But if they love your bar of soap or candle or earrings, they might want to order another one. And if your name and website and Instagram handle are not on it, they won't have any way to do that. So definitely make sure to put those things on all of the packaging that you can. And even if it makes sense on the product itself, you might stamp your logo into your soap bar, or on the back of my paper bookmarks, I have my website very small at the bottom because that's not a detail that's gonna put anybody off. Always think about keeping your brand name in front of people as best you can because you just never know how someone's gonna discover your product. I have a couple final lessons for you. First of all of this I'm sure was quite overwhelming. It is a lot to take in. It is a lot to learn to do markets and get used to doing markets. Do not beat yourself up. You are going to learn things as you go. You will not get it perfect out of the gate. Like I said, I've been doing this for 8 years. I'm still changing things 8 years later, and if you can't tell, I'm pretty analytical and I still haven't 100% cracked the code. So do not beat yourself up. The fact of the matter is, craft shows, you just never know. You can never predict them. Even if you've participated in the same event before, sometimes it goes totally different. I have learned a lot over the years. You will learn a lot over the years too. So like I said before, do not beat yourself up. Just accept that it's an ever-evolving thing where you're always going to be learning and growing. But hopefully this video has helped you shortcut some of the lessons that I had to learn the hard way. I really hope this episode of the Craft Show Blueprint helps you feel more confident about preparing for your first market. And if you want to learn more, you can watch the entire series in this playlist right up there. And don't forget to grab the free checklist from the link in the description. It recaps everything we've been talking about throughout this series in one convenient place so that you don't miss a thing. If you enjoyed this video, would you please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more handmade product business tips? Thanks so much for watching till the end. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.